Hi, I'm Chef Joseph Farner, and welcome to Cheffy Nom Noms, channel where I teach you method over recipe, with a little help from my friend, Kevin Bacon. We're going to take you on a culinary adventure that's going to keep your taste buds dancing, and your guests coming back for more. Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to Cheffy Nom Noms Christmas episode. We thought that we would give you something that you could make for your family this Christmas holiday. Something that is absolutely wonderful. My short rib recipe. And my short rib recipe is 100% gluten free. My wife thanks me every single time. It is an incredibly flavorful, aromatic, it hits all the notes. Savory, sweet, just a touch of sweet in there. Umami like you would not believe. This is the one. This is my favorite way to make short ribs. Let's get into it. This time our culinary adventure begins. Make sure and pause the video here. Check out the brands that I use. The red wine is not important as long as it tastes delicious. We're going to start with our onions, our carrots, our garlic, some fresh thyme, and our short ribs. Our short ribs we're just going to give a little bit of salt and pepper on all sides. Then we're going to start our avocado oil in a pan, get that piping hot. You'll see here the bone runs along the bottom and the fat side runs along the top. We're going to set the fat cap down into the oil and render that out first. What we're doing here is we're browning our meat. We are creating layers of flavor. This is a very, very important process, not only for the fawn created in the bottom of the pan, but also the caramelization of the sugars and proteins, creating that wonderful crust. Here we have our fawn in the bottom of the pan. We're going to turn that down. We will release the fawn by pouring in 2 cups of our red wine. Any red wine will do. Something along a Cabernet is usually best. Something that's drinkable for sure. That's very important. Next, a nice port. Nothing too fancy, nothing too expensive. Taylor is wonderful for this. I use 1 cup of port. Then we'll add our tamari, which is a gluten-free soy sauce. Half a cup of that tamari will go into our sauce. And then we will follow that up with our balsamic vinegar. You want a balsamic vinegar that is very nice and has a little bit of viscosity to it, a little thick. So I'll use the rest of the juices to kind of clean it out there. Do a little cleanup here, and then we'll reduce that down and cook all of the alcohol out and release the fawn from the bottom of the pan. As that cooks down, we're going to slice our onions. Then we'll cut our carrots. We're going to peel them first. Then we will nip the tips and the butts. Cut those in half, and then cut those halves also in half. Then we grab our garlic. Just a few cloves will do. Set that aside and get ready to build. I put a little bit of thyme in the bottom. I set our short ribs bone side down on our bed of thyme. Then I'll add our cloves of garlic kind of around it. Our carrots make a little bit of a grid along with our onions and finished with thyme. Then we'll pour our reduction over the top, followed by some parchment paper, and then a heavy-duty foil. It's very important that you seal this very tight. Make sure that it is got a very, very good seal on it. Very important. We'll put that into the oven that has been preheating to 325, and we'll bake this for 2.5 to 3.5 hours.
Oh my gatos, huele muy delicioso.
Ah, thanks, Kevin. I agree. The smells are absolutely incredible. Wow. Those are ready. We're going to set those aside and let them rest. After they have rested in their own juices for about a half an hour to 45 minutes, we will then pull each one of them out. A good way to check to make sure they're done is that the bone comes out clean. You can slide that bone back in for presentation purposes, or remove them altogether with that collar. It's up to you. I'll cover that with a foil just to make sure that they stay nice and warm while I finish up our sauce here. Set them aside. I use a double strainer method. I'll pour all of the juices into a saucepan. Now you'll notice when you're pouring this in here that the oils from the fats will find their way to the top, and all the juices and that wonderful flavor will be in the bottom. We'll then fortify this with 1 more cup of our port before we start to reduce it down. We'll then take this over to the stove, and I'm going to make what is called a slurry, which is just cornstarch and water. I'll show you how much cornstarch I use here, maybe just about a 1/4 cup, and it's about the same 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to then scrape those oils that we talked about from the fats off the top. I take a ladle, push it down in, and give it just a little bit of a bend so that those oils fall in and the juices stay down below. This is important because if you don't do this, you run the risk of your sauce breaking. Plus, who wants all that oil in it? Now, once it's up to a boil, we're going to add our better than bouillon beef stock. This fortifies that beef flavor, and we will start to slowly pour our slurry in. It is very, very important that it is boiling at this time. You want to slowly pour it in. It's not good to thicken it too thick and then thin it back out. So slowly pour it in, check it, see where it's at, check the viscosity. You want it to coat the back of a spoon. I'll show you later on in the video. Just continue to whisk while you pour in your slurry. This process maybe takes a little bit of time, but it's important not to rush it. There it is, that beautiful sheen over the top, and you'll see that it coats the back of the spoon absolutely perfectly. This is the perfect viscosity. Kevin stops by to remind me, turn on the light, Mr. Chef.
La luz, por favor.
Gracias, Kevin. Muchas gracias.
And that is how I make my favorite short rib recipe of all time. That fortified port reduction. Oh my goodness. We had it last night, and I did it with some horseradish mashed potatoes and some Brussels sprouts. It was unreal. Absolutely to die for. I hope that you guys really enjoy this. And Merry Christmas from the Cheffy Nom Nom kitchen to yours.